back. Welcome back po to LIRA in Law. Welcoming you again on a Thursday evening, kind of warmer evening today, and the 19th of September, too close to Christmas. Thank you very much for joining me. Special thanks to our new viewers. I know that every Thursday, it's always a pleasure to welcome new viewers. So kung huwag kayong mahiya, say hello, you don't have to say your name, just batiin niyo ako, right? Now, so we're going to launch into our rather big topic, as usual, with a practical angle nga, unmarried partner visa, and this is courtesy of one of our viewers nga. Babasahin ko mamaya yung question nga niya, because there are also certain points that's specific nga sa question niya, and I'm happy to deal with that, of course. See, there is absolute advantage in watching and asking questions. Now, so without further ado, unmarried partner visa. Now, unang-una po, to enter the United Kingdom nga as a partner, kung just tingnan yung batas, it's under Appendix FM Immigration Rules. FM just means family member. So, who would be considered a partner? So, unang-una, spouse, asawa nyo, Civil partner. There's no civil partnership in the Philippines, but civil partner. So, if you're in the United Kingdom, if you don't wish to marry, you can enter into civil partnership nga. And third is unmarried partner. Yun ang topic nga natin ngayon. Yung third category nga natin, unmarried partner, is defined in the rules, and that is what recently changed. Okay, nagbago po yung definition on the 31st of January 2024. So only the beginning of the year. So it's only 8 months old yung bago nga. And as I say later on, I'm going to give you my take on how I've observed it to have changed and how best to perhaps apply it to your case, So, unusually, alam niyo naman, immigration nga is has been going through quite a lot of changes and quite probably difficult changes nga. So the spousal rules, for example, the income went up from £18,600 to now £29,000. Hopefully it's not going to go up anytime soon beyond that for the moment. So ang mga batas nga ngayon to do with immigration, they're getting stricter rather than laxer, So, but unusually, the unmarried partner route that changed to the definition, in fact, went the other way, or so we think, and that's why we're going to look at it nga. So tingnan muna natin yung lumang batas, until the 31st of January 2024, as I say, kailangan nyo pakita kung kukunin nyo nga yung partner nyo nga dito. Anong ibig sabihin partner? Asawa nyo, spouse. Civil partner, so you've entered into a civil partnership nga with them, or unmarried partner. Now, unmarried partner was defined as the couple should be able to show that they've been in a relationship like a marriage and that they have been living together a minimum of 2 years. Okay? Yun ang batas dati. That's how an unmarried partner was defined. So it was not enough to show that you were in a relationship for at least 2 years. You also had to show nga na nagsasama nga kayo. And you needed to provide evidence nga of cohabitation. So kung hindi nga kayo nagsasama, couples who were not living together, they would not satisfy the spousal route as an unmarried partner. Now, that of course became a problem, for some people nga. So, for example, mga tao nga, couples who have chosen not to live together for whatever reason, cultural, religious, or even economic reasons, So, if hindi ka kayo nagsasama at that time, until the 31st of January 2024, you could not show cohabitation, then you would not be considered nga a partner. Now, nagbago, So the new definition, if you like, of the unmarried partner, okay, changed on the 31st of January 2024. Kung gusto niyo tingnan yung batas nga mismo, it's contained under the Statement of Changes in the Immigration Rules HC 246, if you want to have a look. You can just Google it or go on the Home Office website, makikita nyo nga doon. And there's, if you like, a new definition of unmarried partner that came into force on the 31st of January. Now, let me just read to you. Maigsi lang naman. Let me just read to you actually what it says, the definition of a partner in paragraph 6.2b of the immigration rules. Now reads as follows, okay? Partner means a person, a spouse, okay? So asawa nyo nga, of course, if kung kasal nga kayo, or civil partner, there's no civil partnerships in Pinas, or, let me just read this bit to you, no? Unmarried partner, where the couple have been in a relationship similar to a marriage or civil partnership for at least 2 years. Now, if you blink, you probably missed what was the difference. The difference is the living together. Now, inalis nila yung living together. Now, it has been removed. The cohabitation bit, the living together bit, was removed from the rules, which is good, no? But as I say, titingnan nga natin how, if any, impact, practically speaking, it's made going forward to applications. So the reference to the 2 years now only relate to the relationship similar to marriage or civil partnership. So ibig sabihin, kailangan pa rin pakita nga that you've been in this relationship like a marriage, not living together, but like a marriage or civil partnership for a minimum of 2 years. So kung isang taon pa lang nga kayo, then you don't qualify. So you still have the 2 years. Now, the new guidance on family, as partner, confirms the removal of the cohabitation requirement. Now, hindi naman maigsi lang naman to. Let me just read to you the new guidance itself, okay? Galing po to sa Home Office. So sabi nila, the 2-year period for relationship between a couple who are not married or in a civil partnership must have been completed prior to the date of the application. Okay, I'll go through that in a moment. The 2-year period does not require evidence of cohabitation for the period and will take account of instances where, for example, the couple are currently living apart for work reasons in order to meet the financial requirements of the rules. And again, we're going to unpack that a little bit, because I've certainly come across cases where exactly that is the issue. The essential point, sabi nila, is that the relationship has been genuine and subsisting for the duration of the 2-year period and continues to be at the date of the application. Okay. Now, there's a lot there to unpack, but we're going to look at them. Okay. So, unfortunately, beyond that statement, there hasn't really been much more in the way of explanations. No. So, tingnan nga natin, how would you let's unpack that nga a little bit. So, do you now qualify as an unmarried partner? Okay. So, tingnan nga natin. So, unang-una, the couple must have been in a relationship for at least 2 years. Okay. So, if you're 1 year or a year and a half, hindi nga, you don't satisfy. Okay, the relationship, the relationship must have been must been similar to a marriage or civil partnership. I mean, some of you may come across the definition akin to marriage, so like a marriage or civil partnership, and that's really where a lot of people have difficulties. So that's what we're going to have a look at. I'll let you know later on mga tips ko to try and satisfy that section particularly for at least 2 years. Tapos, kanang yun ang pakita that the 2-year period must have been completed before the date of the visa application. So kung kapos pa kayo, sabihin natin you've now been living together and you have documents nga to show it for a year and a half, okay? Then don't make the application now. You should wait another 6 months so that you complete the 2 years and then make the application, because the 2 years must have been completed by the date of the application, not waiting, not during the application, but by the date of the application. So before the date of the application. Now, the relationship must be genuine and subsisting at the date of the application, which of course It's probably the only one, the only thing that's less of an issue. I've not come across that as the problem, certainly not recently, in relation to these applications, since the change on the 31st of January. And the couple, and this is something that also applies now for spouse applications now, but of course it applies to unmarried partner applications. The couple must be able to show an intention to live together permanently in the United Kingdom, as well as meet all the other requirements for an Appendix FM, FM is family, family member application. For example, financial requirement, accommodation requirement, language requirement. So just very briefly, financial requirement, yun na nga, kung ngayon nga lang tayo magpapasok na application, it should be £29,000 before tax, no? And then accommodation requirement, kailangan meron kang titiran pagka nandito na kayo sa UK. So that can be, it doesn't have to be owned by you. It can be rented. It can be a room in a house that maybe sa magulang ng partner nyo, no? So it doesn't have to be anything that you own. Language requirement, of course, like the spouse application nga, A1 po, kailangan kayo pumasa, no? And of course, dahil matatagal nga kayo dito, you're making an application to enter the UK, then you also need to have the tuberculosis or negative tuberculosis certificate. So yung kailangan yung pakita. Now, so I'll emphasize again nga, unlike spouses, kung kasal nga kayo, kailangan yung pakita na you've been together a minimum of 2 years in a relationship like a marriage. Now, what does that mean though? No, living together no longer necessary, no? According to the rules nga, nagbago nga. So no, but it is still helpful. No? Now, okay, so let me look nga. Let's discuss the types of documents. Okay, pagka tinignan yung guidance, you will see that there are essentially 3 tiers of documents, no? Evidence ranked in tiers, persuasiveness value. So tier 1 being the best, tier 3 not being not so convincing. So tingnan natin yung tier 1. Okay, what would they accept, that is the Home Office, as tier 1 evidence? So good evidence nga that your relationship is indeed like a marriage, akin to marriage, a minimum of 2 years. Now, titignan nga nila, and it's actually on the guidance, tenancy agreement, okay? Council tax bills, utility bills, car finance, insurance documents, no? Evidences like saying yung address nyo nga, no? So, ibig mo sabihin, kahit inalis na nga nila yung living together, they to show that the relationship indeed has been ongoing for minimum of 2 years, like a marriage, they're still looking at, or they want to see things like yung tenancy agreement, no? Council tax, which can be difficult, especially kung hindi nga kayo nagsasama dahil nandito yung sponsor, nandun kayo, no? Nandun kayo sa Pilipinas, for example, okay? So although cohabitation is no longer required, it's still the best way to persuade the Home Office that indeed your relationship has been ongoing, genuine, and subsisting a minimum of 2 years. Now, what does that do mean? Okay, so let me just have a look. Let's discuss now how I have come up, certainly observe, the change in the definition. Yung nga sabi ko kanina, 31st of January 2024, nagbago nga yung definition. So dati, kailangan yung pakita, nagsasama nga kayo, a minimum of 2 years. Inalis nila yung kailangan yung magsama. No? But the relationship must be like a marriage, like a civil partnership, minimum 2 years pa nga rin. No? Now, itong tip ko, yeah? Since the change. So it's been 8 months nga since the change. Ang napapansin ko, the Home Office, although the cohabitation is no longer required, they actually still focus nga on cohabitation. No? So kung nagsasama nga kayo dati, nagsasama kayo nga ngayon, for goodness sake, send documents nga to show na nagsasama nga kayo. Just because the cohabitation requirement is no longer there, kung mapapakita nyo, pakita nyo. Now, Ano mga ebidensyang pinapakita ko? What I get from my clients? Unang-una nga, remittance slips. Nagpapadala kayo. Most people do, no? Hindi naman kailangan malaki, hindi naman kailangan lagi, but it could be nagpapadala kayo. Kung nagpapadala kayo, especially kung nagpapadala nga kayo sa partner nyo, diretso, then mapapakita nyo na of course, nagbibigay nga kayo ng pera. If it's regular, even better. Now, tip ko ito. Magbibigay kayo nga yung mga remittances, huwag nyo nga pasangalan yung remittances, no? Ilista nyo. No? Especially kung lagi nga kayo nagbibigay. It doesn't have to be much. But certainly, if it's a lot, definitely, lagay nyo. Ilista nyo in date order. No? Starting really with 2 years ago. Yeah? With reference nga to the remittance slips. Most of my clients, hindi nga lang sila buwan-buwan nagpapadala, but actually every week sila nagpapadala. Lista nyo nga yun, no? Be careful nga din, pagka magbibigay kayo ng remittance slips sa atin, yung pecha baliktad, no? It's because it's Americanized, no? Of course, kailangan nyo explain din yun, no? That of course sa atin nga it's month first and then day, dito day, month, and then the year. So explain that also. Start with that. Remittances. Please note, put in brackets, please note that the dates are the dates refer to month and then the day and then year. Okay? Ilista nyo. Kung pwede, i-total nyo din. Okay? The last every year. So ito. Okay? So kung ang sweldo nyo, sabihin natin 29,000, tapos nagpapadala kayo sa atin 10,000. Okay? Then obviously that is a third, more than a third actually of your income. Actually probably more because of course you pay tax on your income. No? So yun. So ipakita nyo nga remittances. Importante yun. Yeah? I mean of course kung meron kayong mga bata then even better. But most of the people nga who have these types of applications who have problems with these types of applications, wala silang mga anak. Now yung tinitirhan nyo, kung nandoon kayo sa Pilipinas, pero yung tinitirhan nyo bahay ng partner nyo nga, no? Dito. Pakita yung titulo. Okay? Show there nga na doon kayo nakatira. Kung sino man nagbabayad ng mga bills, no? Kuryente, tubig, no? Nasa pangalan nyo ba? No? So kung mapapakita nyo, the property is owned by your partner, nandito siya, pero kayo nagbabayad ng bills, then that already link you together. Now, kung yung mga bills, utilities, by that, yung kuryente, tubig, mga ganon, is being paid by your partner, that's fine too. No? Sabihin nyo nga din. And again, explain it. No? And I'll take you through where to explain it in a moment. So explain it also. So sabihin nyo doon, with reference to the utility bills, to electricity bill, you will note that the bills are in the name of partner nyo, lagay yung pangalan niya, o pangalan nyo. So you will note that the bills are in my name, but the property is owned by my partner. So again, it's a question of linking you both. Okay? So huwag niyong kalimutan natin yun because that's again good evidence of relationship, a minimum nga of 2 years. And do provide documents that is at least 2 years. Of course, kung matagal na nga kayo, no? Then magbigay kayo nung mga lumang dokumento. Again, to show na talagang you are in a relationship like a marriage. Now, where do you put that in? So kung meron nga kayong mga remittances, meron kayong mga bills, for example, o kung ano man. No? So, kung uuwi lagi ang partner nyo, no? Once every 6 months or once a year, meron kayong mga pictures, for example. Okay? Then explain them in your statement. Ang statement po, parang affidavit ang itsura. Yung istorya nyo. Okay? But don't be melodramatic. I say this all the time, no? Because they don't really want to know that. Kung gusto na makita, do you satisfy the immigration rules? So by that, they mean financial requirement, accommodation, and of course, importante nga ito. No? Kung hindi nga kayo kasal, relationship, like a marriage, a minimum of 2 years. So devote a paragraph setting out, explaining really kung ano nga ang why you say that you are a partner under that rule. So Sabihin nyo, kailan kayo nagkita? When you met, no? When your relationship actually then started, when you are in a relationship like a marriage because, no, with reference to, but ilista nyo, you refer to your remittance statements. You will see that this comprised a minimum of 2 years or even longer than that. They will also note that this is paid by your partner from the UK to you on a monthly basis or a weekly basis, and the total amounting to whatever it is per in that year, which represents a third or a quarter of your partner's income. Remember, application nyo ito. So the applicant is the one in the, kung nasa Pilipinas nga kayo, in the Philippines. Okay, so the statement should be coming from you. Now, of course, it's also useful to have a statement from your partner, yung nandito nga. So, backing up really yung statement nyo. So, you don't need to repeat it. You would probably say, certainly yung mga statements sa mga kalyante ko, I would say, I refer to my partner's statement dated whatever it is. I've read the same and confirmed the facts to be true as they are known to me. I would just like to add the following. That's my usual starting point, no? So dun yung sabihin, when you arrived in the UK, so we're now talking about the sponsor, when you arrived in the United Kingdom, that you've established your family life and private life in the UK because of the length of time you've been here, for example, your career path nga, no? And as confirmed by my partner, our relationship began on so-and-so date. Our relationship is akin to marriage because of the distance between us. We're not living together presently, but I certainly treat them as my partner. No, so we are in a relationship like a marriage. Lagyan nyo din yun, no? So actually mention it because yun ang batas eh. No? So it's quite important that you do that. Now, kung meron kayong mga abogado, they will also make legal representations, and you can make also some limited legal representations if you wish. Yung nga, I made reference to Appendix FM, no, family member, and then also nga emphasize the issue of unmarried partner. We're making this application under the unmarried partner route. We satisfy this because, tingnan nyo nga, no, and by all means put forward what I've just read to you. Ano nga kailangan yung pakita that shows indeed that you are in a relationship like a marriage, you know? So those things importante po, no, wag yung sometimes nga people they're just in a rush to make the application. You can of course make the application. You don't have to submit the documents nga in support immediately, but take your time in preparing the documents. No? I can't emphasize this enough, but to succeed, my only tip is preparation. Okay? Dahil nga kailangan nyo pakita ebidensya eh. No? It doesn't, you know, no, that it's a genuine relationship. You know na you are in a relationship like a marriage, but the Home Office does not know that. Okay? Hindi nila kayo kilala. So it is for you to satisfy them. And how do you do that? Then of course, dahil hindi nga kayo i-interviewin, you do that by evidence. No? And the more substantial evidence, the better. But don't just dump the evidence nga, no? Explain them. No? Kung meron kayong mga pictures, also note when they were taken. Kung may mga taong iba, hindi nga lang kayo, then also note they are lola lolo ko, for example, no, or nanay tatay ko. We traveled to Ilocos, ganon. So actually explain it. It's for you to explain it and give them enough evidence nga to show that you are indeed in a relationship like a marriage, a minimum of 2 years. If you can show them that, then you satisfy a big chunk nga of the that route, no, as a partner route. And of course, wag niyong kalimutan, no, you need to still do the other things. As I say, financial requirement, £29,000 before tax. Of course, you also need to show accommodation, and you need to also show English language, which is the A1 level nga. No? So all those things you still need to show. Oh yeah, don't forget the TB, the tuberculosis, and negative certificate. And by the way, you can't go to just any clinic or any hospital. Nga, they need to be authorized by the Home Office. I think there are four or five clinics now in various places nga in the Philippines, for example. So make sure you go to those. So yung nga po, so it's not impossible. Ang observation ko po, hindi nga imposible, no, to get your partner nga as under the unmarried partner route, but it does require a lot more work. Actually, I find kung kasal kayo, kung isang taon kayo, dalawang taon kayo, or isang buwan nga lang kayo, it doesn't matter. Kasal na nga kayo, you have established the legal link nga between you. But the unmarried route, definitely no less than 2 years, and you must have completed the 2 years before the date nga of the application, and you need to evidence it. So if there's a choice, of either marrying here or marrying up, for example, sa Pilipinas, then I would say just get married there, so you don't have to deal with the 2 years evidence nga. And even though the idea of the 2-year cohabitation, 2-year relationship is to kind of take into account the change, in family life, because not everyone wants to get married. Not everyone can marry, to kind of put those applicants in some parity to those who are married. I find certainly that spouse application, so kung kasal nga kayo, is still an easier application, because you don't have to evidence nga the 2 years like in a relationship like a marriage. So if there's a choice, when clients ask me, should we marry or not, I always say marry, because it does provide you with a stronger application. Okay, and certainly if you actually want to marry in the United Kingdom, there's also the possibility of entering the United Kingdom, of course, as a fiance. In that case, you don't have to show that you've been in a relationship like a marriage. The idea of going under the unmarried partner route is, for whatever reason, either you don't want to get married or you can't marry in the United Kingdom. And as I say, sometimes it's choice, sometimes it's kind of it's not a choice, as in you can't actually marry, especially as, of course, alam nyo naman, there's no divorce in the Philippines, and sometimes that's also the reason for it. Anyway, so it's as I say, it's a big topic. It's a topic that in the last 8 months since the change on the 31st of January, if you ask me, have I seen such a massive relaxation of the application of the rules? Not really, no. Where it's made a difference is where my clients have no choice. They can't actually marry, and normally that means na kasal nga kayo sa atin. And there it certainly made a difference. But if you don't have that issue, then ang payo ko, still marry, just because the Home Office are still very traditional in their approach. And if you can marry but you're choosing not to, they get a bit suspicious. So if you don't have to have that concern, then don't invite it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Now come my favorite part of our show. I mean, I always say this.